I'm here with Marcello Sano, who's a research fellow from Griffith University. But I'll let Marcello tell you his story.
Well, I've been in Australia for 2 years and studying marine science for the last probably 8 years in Italy, Spain. I'm Italian by origin, and I've been studying in Spain, the Canary Islands, and in northern Spain. I've done my PhD in marine science and technology, and I ended those studies in 2009, and then I got hired by Griffith University to look in more detail into climate change adaptation issues for Southeast Queensland and Australian coastal areas, looking at coastal communities adaptation and how to adapt coastal communities in the future.
And that's work that you're teaching at the university?
Yes, I'm also teaching undergraduate students of science and engineering how to better manage our coast and how to look at coastal engineering with an holistic perspective and how to look at coastal conservation with a better perspective for the environment.
I like the sound of that. How does a holistic approach meter out?
Well, that's can be quite complex. There's a lot of theories, but basically we're trying to look at the coastal system as a complex system with different components, having like social, economic, natural components all combined together, with the institution trying to govern all those components and trying to better manage the whole system.
Are you finding that there's a commitment amongst all those disparate groups and organisations that you're trying to bring together with that focus? Are they coming together?
Well, it's quite interesting. We have a lot of projects where we do a lot of stakeholder engagement, trying to put people together and get people together and trying to understand different perspectives and different points of view on the same topic. We have people from government, people from NGOs, people from the civil society. For example, now I'm running a project with Surf Life Saving Australia looking at adaptation options for their Surf Life Saving Club across Australia and trying to understand better how those can adapt in the future and how can be how can Surf Life in Australia leverage adaptation and environmental and coastal conservation in coastal communities. That's an interesting approach. We're using climate change adaptation elements.
And who's speaking for the inhabitants of the sea? We just interviewed Madison Stewart. She's the young woman who has been working with sharks for about the last 5 or 6 years, and I thought maybe if you haven't met her before, you'll meet her tonight, and she might be an adjunct to the research that's going on with her knowledge.
Yeah, it's interesting because at the end of the day, we are looking at nature as something which is external to our life, but basically we should trying to understand better the point of view of the other side of the fence, which is the animals. So, but at the end of the day, what we manage is managed by humans. We can't ask animals to manage themselves. So we're trying to do our best to maintain coastal and ocean environments, to protect species, but always from a human perspective, because we're human at the end. We can't be fish.
But we can at least consider them. We can at least consider them. Consider the fish in our dealings with the ocean.
How are we going to... Sorry, I don't understand it.
Well, I'm saying we need to have an appreciation that we share that environment with them. We don't own it.
Yeah, I think this is a very advanced way of looking at nature conservation in general, not just the ocean or the coast, but in general, like how we actually manage the world, and trying to switch from an anthropogenic perspective to like a broader perspective where we include other species into the management of our environment. It's a quite an advanced and complex way of thinking, I think, and there's no scholars who are trying to actually look at how animals manage their own environment and how to learn from animals how to manage the environment. In Australia, there's a lot of advances in how we manage our environment by including local and traditional knowledge and on how to actually maintain our coastal resources, how to maintain our animals and species, both inland and in the ocean and on the coast. But nobody ever thought about how actually the animals are managing their own environment. From my perspective, I think that animals, well, I'm not sure if it goes into the interview, but I had a conversation the other day with a friend, and basically we were thinking about how do actually animals manage their own ecosystems, and I think that there's I'm not sure, but I'm not sure if there's self-management. For example, whales. Do you think that whales will stop eating shrimps because they think that the shrimp stock is getting smaller? Because they want to conserve to maintain the shrimps, because they are just like thinking, oh, we have to maintain the shrimps population, so we have to stop eating them. Do you think whales will do that?
Well, I think they'll probably eat whatever we leave them.
Yeah, or dolphins or sharks. Will they stop eating because we had too much cod, so we have to stop eating the cod because we were just threatening the population of cods, and we have to control ourselves as sharks? I'm not sure. I don't know.
Well, there was a natural order of things before we started to play with it, and then found a market for it. And whether it be a market for fish stock, or whether it be a market for crustaceans, or whether it be a market for shark fins, once there's a market and market forces come into play, respect seems to take a back seat.
Yeah, probably at the end of the day, humans as probably the dominating species of this world should take more responsibility. Because at the end of the day, humans are part of nature, and this is part of nature. It's not like something different, because we, as part of nature, we decided to transform materials and invent plastic. And plastic got into the ocean, and nature is just managing this plastic as part of the whole system, and something will change, something will happen to this plastic, and in millions of years it should be still here when probably mankind will have disappeared. We don't know what's going to happen, but we're part of the nature, so...
Okay, so how would you say human beings can have a positive impact on the health of oceans?
Well, there's many ways to have a positive impact on the health of oceans. I think from a consumer point of view, the simplest thing we can do today is actually, for instance, control our use of plastic bags, of plastic products. As an example, as we can see from like many media, and also many scientific publications, there's a massive problem in the Pacific Ocean because of the formation of a big patch of garbage, which is estimated to be something in between the size of Australia or double the size of Australia. And this big patch of plastic is made of very small particles of plastic, which are on a size of something around a few millimeters up to a few centimeters. So it can't be seen from a space, can't be seen from by just sailing through. But basically, when you do some sampling, you get a lot of plastic out of the samples that oceanographers take in the area. And also there's a lot of risk of bioaccumulation, and the accumulation is increasing. So the first records of this accumulation were in the early 70s, and then in the 80s and the 90s they recorded an increase in the accumulation, and the human population, especially in Asia, where there's a lot of production of plastics and a lot of economic growth, all this population growth will cause an increase in the actual size and volume of all this plastic in the ocean. So basically what should be done in the future is trying to actually control the use of plastic, control the use of all these elements which get accumulated in the ocean, and try not to get them into the chain foods and damage animals.
That sounds like a good note to finish on. Thank you, Marcello.
Thank you.
Cheers.